So I was asked, what are some alternatives to banning Games Workshop? Recently, to summarize really quick, if you're new to jumping in on this, certainly I've pushed it up to my mailbag under my channel playlist here. Other Warhammer 40K enthusiast channels have talked about this. In the past month leading up to the launch of Warhammer Plus, their premium streaming service, Games Workshop has been hyper-aggressive, shutting down fan sites, suppressing fan content, and really tightening up their expectations of how they deal with, this is our IP, these are our trademarks, you're not allowed to use them. Really, really pushing towards that. So from that perspective, there's been a natural backlash because a number of very prominent YouTube channels have shut down voluntarily because they're saying, I can't go up against Games Workshop. So I'm investing all this time and effort. I need to control what I can. I'm going to either close it down or maybe pause for a bit and see. And of course, you can't get any feedback from Games Workshop if you even want to get feedback. This has led to a lot of people saying, well, let's boycott Games Workshop. And I wanted to kind of offer my thoughts on that because I walk this dual line, and I've always been very, very honest. I love Warhammer 40,000. I love the narrative. The time that I have spent in-game universe, enjoying that tabletop, the building, the painting, the collecting, the tactics, the friendships that I have made, the connection with the community, that is priceless. And Warhammer 40K, and by an extension, whether I want to admit it or not, Games Workshop has allowed that to happen. It's allowed that to happen. 40K has been a vehicle for a lot of really, really good times. So I deal with this duality of I love the community, I love the game, but I'm constantly smashing my head against the wall being like, Games Workshop, what are you guys doing? I understand protecting IP. I want 40K to be strong. I want you to keep putting out new kits and new stuff, but you're just blatantly running all over the community. So how do we even try to deal with this? How do I stay true to those ideals? And this is a question that I think a lot of us who are longtime enthusiasts, 40K fanboys, players, whatever you want to call it, these are the questions that we ask. And these are the questions that we are exploring. These are the questions that I ask myself. So there is this reaction of like, yeah, boycott. Let Games Workshop know we're not happy with this. What is that really going to affect? And I don't mean to be down on that or feel like you can't affect social change, because absolutely you can. We've seen that demonstrated in certainly very, very important matters in our society. So the exercise of change to say to Games Workshop, treat your fans better, or at least acknowledge us, or at least explain to us, look, here's the new policy. I mean, I'm not a marketing person, so obviously the tone of the words would be a lot more diplomatic. Here's the new policy. We're sorry that we're jerks on this IP stuff, and we're sorry that we have to go after certain things to enforce it, but we need to make sure Warhammer can continue to Warhammer. And those that we will be affecting, we will reach out so you understand with clarity what's going on, or maybe how we can work with you, what you can utilize, at least giving some feedback as opposed to just destroying everything like the Inquisition. So I don't think a boycott per se is going to work, but I can't dictate individual actions, and I would never presume to dictate individual actions. My focus is to do two things. Really look and say, and this is hard admittedly, if it's any miniature war game, it's hard, to really look and say, what money do I want to give to Games Workshop? What do I want to support in terms of their product? So do I really need this for my army? Or if I'm going to develop these new tactics, do I really need these new models? If I'm going to do that, I am committing 100% to just buying locally at a store. Now, I try to support locally always because they give you a place to play. Sometimes it's only GW exclusive. Sometimes online, that's your only option. I'm going to double down and source everything locally for what I can. And if that means I can't get it, then I'll have to really look at it. So at least if I'm paying Games Workshop, at least I'm pumping something back into the community. And again, I always try to do local first, but right, there's certain things that you just can't have that be a possibility. If it's not a possibility, I'm going to look long and hard and be like, maybe I don't get that for my army, and maybe I have to let that go. step back from that. So I'm going to internally commit. I'm only supporting local. That's going to be my boycott. I'm going to support local. So at least that profit, whatever's made, that stays back, that enthusiasm, that support. I'm also going to double down. And I mean, I've always been here with this, a narrative player. I'm going to love the game, but hate how it's playing out. We're going to play 40K. The community, we're going to play 40K. I'm going to play 40K. You're going to play 40K. And we're going to use the rules we want. We're going to change what we want. I think I'm going to get more into homebrew. That doesn't mean I'm going one-page Warhammer or I'm going to go back to another edition, although those might be some options for some players. What that means is we're not in a tournament situation. So if Games Workshop changes something and it's so broken, or you're waiting for clarification for your army to do something, let's just figure it out. I gave an example a while ago. Back in the day when the Murder Sword was a potent chaos artifact, we were regularly playing at a club where the Space Marine chapter defeated some chaos dudes that had the Murder Sword, some warlord or whatever. And the player wanted to take that sword and now use that war gear. Yeah, we let them. Absolutely. So now they have a chapter master with this sword, very much using evil to defeat evil and utilizing that. I don't know, tack on another 25 points to your chapter master. Does it break it? Is it unbalanced? Who cares? You want to model it up. You want to have fun. You want that to be your thing. Now, I've always been open to those scenarios. I'm going to push those scenarios more locally. You want to do cross-codex stuff. You want to play stuff. As long as you can back it up with the story. As long as you can back it up with the tabletop type stuff. Look, if orcs can loot whatever they can, then maybe we could utilize other aspects. I'm going to use the rules as a framework, but if someone wants to approach something different, we're going to put that support back locally. I'm going to double down and really look and say, the people that I play with, what do they get excited at? What makes them happy? What gets them pumped where something happens and they show up 2 weeks later with a custom miniature with something special? Let's get that on the table. Rules? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Is it balanced? I don't really care. Let's figure it out. Let's do it. Those two commitments, really focusing on those two commitments, that's going to be my boycott. That's my boycott for Games Workshop. And I'm going to continue to hold out that and admit, stepping back, maybe this is just all in a reaction to Warhammer Plus and GW is tone deaf and they're just kind of not really in that segment right now. And maybe things will relax up as they move forward. But it's this duality. How do I stay true to the Warhammer 40K community that I've been a part of, yet at the same time deal with Games Workshop? And for some, that might be a boycott. For others, it might be something else. That's the action that I'm going to take. That's what I'm going to focus on. And I'm going to turn over to you guys. Right now, what are you focusing on with 40K? And it's all okay, whether that's taking a little bit of a break or changing things or just saying, hey, I'm going to move in this direction. We all are where we are in this moment, but these changes have been caused. These changes have been caused by Games Workshop.